The morning sun crept over the skyline of Atlanta, Georgia, casting long shadows across the sprawling site of the new Peachtree Innovation Center. The air was thick with the scent of fresh concrete and the metallic tang of steel beams. In the heart of the construction site, a makeshift conference room had been set up, just a cluster of folding chairs, a battered whiteboard, and a table littered with blueprints and coffee-stained mugs. Inside, the weekly site meeting was already underway. At the head of the table stood Rebecca "Becky" Whitman, the white chief engineer, her tailored shirt crisp, her hair pulled into a severe bun. She was a woman who had clawed her way up in a man's world, and she wore her authority like armor. Her voice was sharp, slicing through the low murmur of the assembled team. "Let's keep this brief. We're already behind schedule, and I don't have time for distractions," Becky announced, her eyes scanning the room. Most of the team engineers, managers, and supervisors nodded in silent agreement, eager to avoid her ire. At the far end of the table, Jordan Carter sat quietly, her dark skin dusted with the residue of a morning spent on the site. She wore a faded work shirt, her hands calloused from years of labor. Jordan was the only black woman in the room, and though her title was Forewoman, she was often mistaken for just another laborer. As Becky launched into a discussion about the new foundation design, Jordan's eyes flicked to the blueprints. She noticed something. A subtle miscalculation in the northeast corner, where the ground sloped more than the plans accounted for. She hesitated, then raised her hand. "Excuse me, Miss Whitman," Jordan said, her voice steady but soft. "The slope on the northeast side is steeper than the design allows. If we don't reinforce the foundation, we'll get uneven settlement." Becky's eyes narrowed. "Thank you, Jordan, but we have engineers for that. Please, let's not waste time with speculation from the field." Her words hung in the air, heavy with condescension. A few nervous laughs rippled through the room, but most people looked away, unwilling to meet Jordan's gaze. Jordan didn't flinch. She simply closed her notebook, her expression unreadable. But Becky, sensing a challenge, pressed on. "This is why we have a chain of command. If everyone started questioning the process, we'd have chaos." The meeting continued, but the atmosphere had shifted. Jordan's warning was ignored, and the discussion moved on to schedules and budgets. As the meeting wrapped up, Becky shot Jordan a final, dismissive glance. "Let's get back to work. We don't need any more delays." As the team filed out, Jordan lingered. She pulled out her old flip phone, a relic from another era, and typed a short message. "Northeast corner, 3 degrees off, urgent." She sent it to a number saved only as M. Outside, the site buzzed with activity. Cranes swung overhead, workers shouted instructions, and the relentless rhythm of progress beat on. Jordan moved through the chaos with quiet purpose, her mind racing. She knew what she'd seen, and she knew the cost of being ignored. That afternoon, a sleek black sedan pulled up to the site. The car was unmarked, but everyone knew what it meant. Someone important had arrived. Word spread quickly. Morgan, the new owner of the Peachtree Innovation Center, was on site for the first time. Becky was summoned to the gate, her nerves taut. She straightened her shirt, smoothed her hair, and rehearsed her greeting. The car door opened, and out stepped a tall, elegant black woman in a tailored suit. Her presence was commanding, her gaze sharp. "Good afternoon," the woman said, her voice calm but firm. "I'm Michelle Morgan. I'd like to see the site." Becky blinked, momentarily thrown. "Of course, Miss Morgan, right this way." As they walked the site, Michelle asked pointed questions about the foundation, the schedule, and the team. Becky answered confidently, glossing over the morning's incident. But Michelle's eyes lingered on the northeast corner, where Jordan was overseeing a crew. "Who's that?" Michelle asked. "That's Jordan Carter, one of our forewomen," Becky replied, her tone dismissive. "She's diligent, but sometimes oversteps." Michelle nodded, saying nothing. But as they moved on, she made a note in her phone. The next morning, disaster struck. A section of the Northeast Foundation began to crack, just as Jordan had warned. The site was thrown into chaos, work halted, inspectors were called, and the project was suddenly at risk. Becky was furious. She called an emergency meeting, her voice trembling with anger. How did this happen? Who signed off on the foundation? The room was silent. Jordan stood at the back, her face calm. I raised the issue yesterday, she said quietly. I was warned that the slope was off. Becky's face flushed. You should have gone through the proper channels. Michelle Morgan entered the room, her presence silencing everyone. I'd like to hear from Jordan, she said. Jordan stepped forward, her voice steady. The ground here slopes 3 degrees more than the plans allow. Without reinforcement, the foundation was bound to crack. I reported it, but my concerns were dismissed. Michelle turned to Becky. Is this true? Becky stammered. I didn't think it was serious. We're under pressure to meet deadlines. Michelle's gaze was icy. Pressure is no excuse for ignoring safety, or for dismissing the expertise of your team. As the meeting broke up, Michelle asked Jordan to walk with her. They moved through the site, away from prying eyes. You did the right thing, Jordan, Michelle said, but I need to know, why didn't you push harder? Jordan hesitated. People like me don't always get heard. I've learned to pick my battles. Michelle smiled, a hint of sadness in her eyes. I know what that's like. I started in this business as a laborer. I worked my way up, but I never forgot what it's like to be ignored. Jordan looked at her, surprised. You were a laborer? Michelle nodded. I bought this company because I wanted to change the way things are done, but change is slow. People like Becky think they know best because of their degrees and titles, but real knowledge comes from experience. Jordan felt a surge of hope. What will you do? Michelle's eyes hardened. I'm going to make sure everyone here knows that every voice matters. Starting today. Michelle called a site-wide meeting. Workers, engineers, and managers gathered in the main yard, curiosity and anxiety mingling in the air. Michelle stood on a makeshift platform, her voice carrying across the crowd. Yesterday, a warning was ignored. Today, we paid the price. But this isn't just about a cracked foundation. It's about a cracked culture where some voices are valued more than others. She turned to Becky, who stood rigid, her face pale. Ms. Whitman, you have 2 choices. You can resign for negligence and endangering the project, or you can stay on one condition. For the next 6 months, you'll work under Jordan Carter. You'll learn from her, and you'll teach what you know. No title, no office, just a name tag and a pair of gloves. The crowd murmured, shocked. Becky hesitated, then nodded. I'll stay. Michelle nodded. Good, because real leaders know how to listen. The next day, Becky arrived on site in work clothes, her hair pulled back in a simple ponytail. She reported to Jordan, who handed her a hard hat and a set of blueprints. We're reinforcing the northeast corner, Jordan said. You'll be leading the crew. Becky swallowed her pride and got to work. The first days were hard. She struggled with the physical demands, and the workers were wary. But slowly, she began to earn their respect. She listened, asked questions, and admitted when she didn't know something. Jordan watched her closely, offering guidance but never gloating. She knew how hard it was to change. As the weeks passed, the site transformed. Safety reports increased, errors decreased, and morale soared. Michelle implemented a new policy. Any worker could report a safety issue directly to her office, bypassing the chain of command. A mentorship program was launched, pairing engineers with laborers to solve problems together. One afternoon, as the sun dipped low over the city, a new face appeared on site. Evelyn Brooks, a white woman in her late 30s, introduced herself as the new quality inspector. She moved quietly, observing everything. Jordan noticed her attention to detail and her willingness to listen. One day, Evelyn pulled Jordan aside. "I've been watching you," Evelyn said. "You have a gift for seeing what others miss. I used to work for a rival company, but I left because they wouldn't listen to people like us." Jordan smiled. "It's not easy, is it?" Evelyn shook her head. "But it's worth it. I want to help you make this place better." Together, they uncovered a series of hidden flaws in the site's design mistakes that had been overlooked for years. With Michelle's support, they implemented changes that saved the company millions and prevented future disasters. 6 months later, the Peachtree Innovation Center was completed ahead of schedule and under budget. The building stood as a testament to teamwork, humility, and the power of listening. In the lobby, a plaque was installed. "We rise by lifting others. Every voice matters." Jordan stood beside Michelle and Evelyn, watching as workers and engineers mingled, their barriers broken down. Becky approached, her face transformed by months of hard work. "Thank you, Jordan," she said quietly. "You taught me more than any degree ever could." Jordan smiled. "We taught each other." Michelle addressed the crowd, her voice ringing with pride. "This building isn't just made of steel and concrete. It's built on respect, trust, and the courage to change. Let this be the foundation for everything we do." As the crowd applauded, Jordan felt a sense of belonging she had never known. She knew the real foundation of the Peachtree Innovation Center wasn't in the ground, it was in the hearts of the people who built it. If you were in Michelle's place, would you give Becky a second chance? What would you do if you saw someone being silenced? Let us know in the comments. And remember, every great company is built on the strength of its people.